Let's get it.
How do you feel you started out with Robyn then? Was it different?
Yeah, it was.
Were you different?
Well, I fell in love with Robyn. I never fell in love with anybody else. I was just choosing to be in that covenant of love with them. I met Robyn, and there was a safety and a vulnerability that I had never experienced in my life. And I met her, and I started weeping for joy, and didn't stop for months.
I met her and I was weeping for joy for months because she was amazing. The thing that kind of cracks me up with this whole thing, Kody talks about like the blessings of Robyn. Oh, she was so amazing. When I met her, I didn't love these other women, but I met Robyn and I loved her so much because I could instantly click with her. We instantly bonded. We instantly became one. The truth of the matter is this. I somewhat agree with what Janelle said. Do I think that Kody was in love with these three women? Not necessarily. I believe Kody when Kody said, because I believe him partly because I said it before. I think Kody ultimately wanted to do a thing. These women allowed him to do that thing and made it possible for him to do this thing, which is be a polygamist. And therefore, he was in a relationship with them, and he did the role, he played the game, he played the parts that he thought he should play, because this is what was required of him. I've even said that in other videos, previous videos. So I believe that when he says that. The thing is, though, and this is the part that's galling, Kody acts as though he somehow did these ladies a favor. Because he's also said that these women begged to get into his family. They was begging me, because they wanted to be a part of my harem because I was so amazing, right? But that's not what was going on. To me, Robyn came in and she was a vacation. Because with the previous women, the difference between the two relationships is not just the time, the fact that Robyn was younger and in Kody's eyes she was prettier and sexier and all that other stuff. The true difference is that with the previous three women, you worked and struggled with those women. With Robyn, you had and were able to provide for Robyn, mostly because of the three women that you had at home. Let's not get it twisted. Because those three women propped you up and put you in a position where you could take care of Robyn the way Robyn wanted to be taken care of. You guys were not in the same or equal situation. When you met Robyn, you didn't have the same situation as you did when you met the OG3. When you met the OG3, you didn't have, none of them had the privilege of knowing you and not having to work. They didn't have the ability to sit on the couch and just dote on you and stare in your face and talk about how awesome you were and you pay their bills. They had kids to watch. They didn't have a situation where, because they were spending so much time adorning you and cooking you meals and rubbing your feet and doing bedroom bonanza games and acrobatics in the boudoir. They didn't have that time or energy because they were taking care of their own kids. They had responsibilities. Whereas Robyn, you gave her a damn nanny to make sure she rested up so when you ready to do your thing, she's available for you to do your thing. That's a different situation. It's not the same situation. So for you to sit there and pretend like all of a sudden Robyn is so great and so wonderful, whereas these women don't know how to treat a man, that's not true. That's not true. Because the truth of the matter is, had these three women sat around and acted like Robyn did, you guys would have been, we're not going to work. We just going to let you come home and we're going to dote on you and take care of you and pamper you. You guys would have starved to death while you were living under the bridge in that telephone booth or that box. That's where you would have been at, because you wouldn't have been able to take care of them. They had to step up to help you take care of the family as well as themselves and their 13 kids that you guys helped to make. And speaking of the 13 kids, he sits there and talks about what a struggle it was to be with him and how much he suffered and all the sacrifices he made to love her and all that other stuff. I'm sure he would say that 3 times. He wasn't just talking to Christine when he was yelling at Christine on that porch about how much sacrifice he made and how much it's been tolling and taxing on him to be with these ladies. Because it's these ladies, not just Christine. He was directing it towards Christine, but he meant all three of you when he was saying that. Because the only one he loved is Robyn. But when he was saying all that, and talking about all the sacrifices he made, and all the things he gave up, and all the dreams and hopes that he put aside, the sacrifice is, I took time away from the woman I love and my family to spend time with you. That's the sacrifice. Now, the ironic part about the whole thing is that Kody was able to get Robyn. And I want to be very clear about this. And the irony in it, and the hypocrisy of it. The only reason Kody was able to get Robyn was because he had those three women that he had so much vitriol for. The only way he was able to get Robyn was, one, according to Robyn, she wanted to be a part of a polygamous relationship, wanted to be a part of a polygamous family. Without those other three women that, those three wastes of time that Kody had, without the three of them, then he wouldn't have been a polygamist. Robyn wouldn't have found him attractive. The second big thing that nobody on the show ever really talks about, there was a TV show in the mix during the time that he was dating Robyn and he was courting Robyn. The third thing, Kody was paying all her bills. It wasn't like, you know how agreeable people are when you paying all their bills. They don't have a job. You taking care of them and their kids. You can go in there and say all kinds of crazy stuff to Robyn, and Robyn's not going to respond back to you rough. He could go in there and flip the hell out, start flipping over tables and stuff. Robyn's just going to be like, oh, he's so crazy. And just going about her business. Because she don't care. That's your furniture, sucker. Go ahead and break it. I don't care. You're just going to buy me another table, dummy. So she doesn't care. The OG3 were in a different situation because they had to provide everything that they had. Everything that they had to work for. And here's a very subtle difference, and this is one of the things that I talked about before. If love was logical, then the OG3 would be the logical solution for Kody, because the OG3 helped build Kody up to be the man that he is today. All the fine things that he's enjoying, all the success he enjoys on the television show of Sister Wives, the ownership of all that property, that was because he had the OG3 had his back. The fact that he was able to be successful on a TV show, even as he admitted on Mormonism Live when he did that podcast, was because the OG3 came up and said that him dating Robyn, the younger young lady, the girl he thought that was so attractive, and the woman he admitted that he was in love with, the OG3 made it permissible for him to do that by saying that they supported it. That's what made it okay. So even from that regard, they've supported him the entire way. And for him to turn his back on them as though their support and their contribution was ineffective or non-existent is insulting. It's insulting to the core. And it's not even insulting to the core. It's reprehensible. It's reprehensible because he says things in such a way that somehow these women are evil and wrong because they dared to ask for more of his time and attention, because they dared to say that they want to be considered equals, that they might have feelings and emotions that should be considered. These people are wrong because they want to be considered like people. How dare they? And then when they said that, okay, fine, Kody, you know what? You want to be with Robyn? That's who you want to be with? You want to spend time with her and spend your attention there? You want to hang out with the kids? You're upset with us when we ask you to take time away from her and her children because that's where you want to be? Okay, fine, you be with them. I'm going to go be with somebody else. Now all of a sudden Christine is the worst person ever, always sitting around shit talking. And she needs to stop, and she needs to come back to the family. And what's wrong with Janelle? Janelle wants to go out and experience her life because I don't want to, oh, she's mad all of a sudden because I don't want to sit there and talk to her boys, which are his boys, her daughter who lives in the house with her, and he doesn't have time for her, or even go over there and spend time with Janelle. All of a sudden she's evil and wrong, and she's conspiring against him and not trying to suit his happiness. Mary, because she's an empty nester, and when he gets over there, she'll claw him to pieces if she had the opportunity, and he would have to do things with her and for her. And he doesn't want to do any of that because he wants to spend time with Robyn. But he does want to spend time with Mary's money because he's very interested in, or at least as the show is being filmed earlier on in that particular season, back when because they segmented it. Some of the show was filmed recently, but some of that tape is old. Like that argument that they had, that was old tape. That wasn't a new argument. That was old tape. So when they had that argument, and he would talk to Mary, and he would go back and forth with Mary and have these little private conversations where he basically told her he didn't want her, but don't tell Robyn. He was more than okay with Mary putting in money into the family accounts. And more so, he was more okay with Mary helping to pay off Kody Pass. He doesn't really talk about that, but Mary, I think, is going to drop bombs on how much she's actually contributed towards Kody Pass and contributed to the family and the family expenses that are being used by Robyn and Kody in their home. Now, even speaking of Mormonism Live, one of the things that was funny to me that when he was on Mormonism Live, he had mentioned a term called hypergamy. Hypergamy is when these women try to get with these men because they see that a man is taking care of his wife and he handling his business, and all of a sudden they beg to get in the family. He tried to say that this is what happened with Christine and Janelle. They saw what a good man he was, and they wanted to jump on the family. The truth of the matter is, dog, you had dog shit. You didn't have anything. You didn't have anything in your house. You didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So there was no hypergamous nature to your relationships with these ladies. The only woman who you could actually articulate an argument or an example of hypergamy towards you and your family and your situation is actually Robyn. That's the hypergamous woman into the relationship, because she came in pockets flat with 3 kids in tow, nothing, no prospects, nothing to show for it. You basically took care of her family, and you provided her and her lifestyle. And you've been doing so since you met her. Now, with that being said, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about how insulting it is that part of the reason why you're so in love with Robyn is that with Robyn, as opposed to the OG3, and just to put a button on that, you put yourself in a situation where with the OG3, they were more partners. If it was a team, you might have been the captain, they were the co-captains, and you guys were all working together. In that same sports analogy, you would be the captain of the team, and Robyn would be the super fan. She'd be the groupie who hangs out by the locker rooms. She's wearing the jersey, but she doesn't never show up to do none of the work. She don't show to the workouts. She don't come to the practices, and she like to hear what's going on with the team. And she has a whole lot of opinion as to how they should move and what trades they should make and whether they should add people, lose people, whatever the case may be. But she really doesn't have any power or influence or actually any real say because she doesn't contribute anything. That's your relationship with Robyn. And even talking about Mormonism Live, one of the things that was also brought up during that time was he accredits his breakup of Christine, Mary, and Janelle to this concept that appears in Manosphere talking points where they say like modern women and in the modern world, and because women are so independent and they have their own minds, this is part of the reason why marriages don't work, because these women they don't know their place. They don't understand that they should be at home doing nothing and letting the man go out and fend. Because back in the old traditional days, the men would go out and they would go hunt and the women would just stay home and they would protect the village and all that craziness. And this men had their place and they had their roles and the women had their roles. But the ironic part about it is Robyn has the first world privilege, the modern woman privilege, or the modern society privilege, or your modern existence now, an advantage now of you having a show and being successful in the show and having money coming in from the show and from the other wives, that you can take care of Robyn. She can stay home with the kids. She can get a babysitter for the kids, a nanny for the kids. She can get a house cleaner and a cook and not have to worry about anything but pampering you. This was not the existence of the OG3. They didn't have the privilege of staying home and waiting for you to do for them, or wait in the kitchen while you out hunting down food. Because you would have been out back with some rat traps. If the OG3 waited for you, they would have starved to death. It was required for them to be independent women. It was required for them to be quote unquote modern women and take it upon themselves to maintain employment, take care of themselves, get jobs, contribute to the family, not just in a child-rearing sense, but in the economic sense. They had to do these things. But you are so steeped in this red pill world of crapola that you don't recognize that what these women had to do in order for you all to prosper, in order for you all to survive. And I think that that's the part of this whole conversation, and I'll do a couple more videos on this particular tell-all, but that's one of the things that really had me fired up on when I did my live last week. Because you act as though these women had a choice. They didn't have a choice. But they stepped up. They stepped up. And you don't recognize the contribution that they made when they stepped up. They didn't look for handouts. They wanted to be your partner. They weren't looking for you to take care of them. They wanted to share their lives with you. They didn't want you to make their lives for them. They wanted to share their life with you, and they wanted to participate in your life. Robyn is allowing you to make her life for her. You're providing her life for her. And the ironic part about it is, and this is my 2 cents on this, is that Robyn is setting it up so she can leave your ass. People are saying, no, the two of them are going to be together because they soulmates. When that money start getting dry, then the situation change. They aren't soulmates, they situation mates. The situation changes, and Robyn has to get a job, and she has to take on a role and step into the shoes that the OG3 had. We'll see how long that lasts. Because Kody, like it or not, this has been Kody's situation for a minute. When the show was slowing down, they were talking about canceling the show before. I didn't hear about Robyn putting no applications in for a job. Robyn hasn't worked for at least 15, 16 years anywhere. I didn't hear about her thinking about trying to contribute to the family because them losing the TLC show was going to be a major hit to their finances. I didn't hear about her getting a job or trying to work anywhere or even getting involved with any of the MLMs that the other wives are involved with. Just something to think about. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could.